Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We have Prabhupada quote. Depend on Krishna, because after all, he is the ultimate master of all situations. It is not the doctor or the medicine or the place, but it is ultimately Krishna who is the master to do everything. Letter to Rama, 20th March, 1969. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, we have Sadhak Seva announcement text. Sadhak Seva means practical seva opportunities to help each other in different situations like job search, business referral, house search, finding loans officers, taxes help, legal help, health-related help, matrimony-related, and many other types of help. Sadhak Seva means we should not only help in motivating others for japa, but should also help in other practical ways. Everyone who is a member of Japa Conference must also help everyone else in a more practical sense. Presently, please share your name and number to our Everyday Chant Harinam Japa WhatsApp group. Or email to everydaychant@gmail.com. Thanks. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Namah Sarvebhya Sushwagatam. Bhaktaganam Kripya Tonamevam Vasanagre Nama Vadatu.
हरे कृष्णा सुमति माता जी समस्त भक्तगण मम नाम श्यामरसिका देवदासी अहम जर्मन टाउन नगरे वसामि. Happy Mahashivratri to you all. I would like to read one quote about Mahashivratri from His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj. We should pray at the lotus feet of Lord Shiva that he may grant a pure devotional service, because he is such an exalted Vaishnava. So on this day of Shivaratri, Lord Shiva is specially pleased to offer this boon, and because he is Ashutosh, very easily pleased, he will be surely be pleased with our prayer and offer us the benediction of Krishna Prema. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for the quote, and thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Dhanyavad Mataji. Hare Krishna. Good, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Mahashivratri. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Dhanyavad, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा सुमति माताजी दंडवत प्रणामः. सुप्रभातं. मम नाम प्रेमनंदिनी देवीदासी अस्ति. अहम वर्जीनिया राज्यस्य एश्पर् नगरात् अस्मिन् सम्मेलने सम्मिलित अस्मि. अस्मिन् सम्मेलने सर्वेभ्यः मम दंडवत प्रणामः. शुभ महाशिवरात्रि.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Dhanyavad, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Amrita Mani Devidasi. Happy Shivratri to all of you. And Dhanavad Pranam to all of you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Dhanyavad, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Hare Krishna to all devotees. This is Mali from Ashburn, Virginia, and Mahashivaratri. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Dhanyavad, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Sumati Mataji, my pranam to you and all the devotees on the call. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Rupati Padma Devidasi from Austin, Texas. And Lord Shiva ki jai. Shivratri ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Dhanyavad, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Would anybody else like to announce their names? Hare Krishna. Would anybody else like to announce their names?
हरे कृष्णा. मम नाम विकास कुलकर्णी. हम टोरंटो नगरे वसामी. गुरु महाराज की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. My humble obeisances to all the devotees on the phone call. And I wish everybody happy Shivratri. And thank you, Mataji, for that quote that we must depend on Lord Krishna at all times for everything. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा गुरु महाराज की जय प्रभुपाद की जय धन्यवाद प्रभु जी हरे कृष्णा Hare Krishna. Would anybody else like to announce their names? Hare Krishna. Would anybody else like to announce their names? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Today we are reading the summary of Bhagavad Gita, and we're having a discussion on it. Hare Krishna. His case, Vikas, Prabhuji, you can take over the call now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So before we begin our discussions on Bhagavad Gita, the entire Bhagavad Gita and summarizing it, let us do the Mangalacharan prayers. Mataji, would you like to recite the Mangalacharan prayers for all of us?
Sure, Prabhuji. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamshcha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Yes, Prabhuji.
Haribol, thank you so much for the wonderful recitation, Mataji. Devotees, it is very coincidental and it is very happy occasion to start with the Mangalacharan prayers, especially because if you have read Bhagavad Gita as it is thoroughly and scrutinizingly, you will note that in the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada actually starts the whole thing with these Mangalacharan prayers, and he elaborates on these Mangalacharan prayers extensively. So thank you, Mataji, for the Mangalacharan prayers. Any act we do, any activity we begin with an invocation for auspiciousness. Even atheists do it, and because everybody wants success in whatever they are doing. So if atheists also wish that what they do should become successful, then how can theists like us, devotees like us, not invoke the Lord's blessing before beginning anything? So again, thanks for that. I'll recite 4 shlokas and then I'll elaborate on them a little bit. कालक्षेपो न कर्तव्या क्षीणमायु क्षणे क्षणे यमस्य करुणा नास्ति कर्तव्यं हरिकीर्तनम् ऋणादपि सुनिचेन करोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिनामान्देन कीर्तनीय सदा हरि कलौ दोषेषु राजन् अस्ति एकोन्मान् गुणा कीर्तनादिकेशवस्य मुक्तसङ्गः परं व्रजेत् हरिर्नामैव केवलं कलौ नास्त्यैव गतिरन्यथा. Very briefly, what this means is the time is passing away, and since we have limited time, and because Yama has very He is very strict and has really no potency or no inclination to hassle with us or haggle with us for giving us more time, because we may want more time, but he is not going to relent with even a fraction of a second more than the time that is allotted for us in this world. The only thing we can really do and should do for the rest of our lives is Sankirtan, Harinam, Sankirtan, and glorify the names of the Lord. And how should we do it? Pranadapi Sinikuna, Tarurapi Saishmana. In the most humble, in the heen bhav, we should chant the name of the Lord. Just like a child that is lost will cry out from the bottom of his heart for the mother or the father to come and find him, we should be chanting the name of the Lord. In Kali Yuga, there are lots of faults, but one of the best things that Kali Yuga offers is through this chanting, the easy access to the Lord. And therefore, it is said that there is no other option for a jiva to escape the miseries of Kali Yuga but to chant chant the name of the Lord, chant the name of the Lord, chant the name of the Lord, and chant the name of the Lord. So those were the 4 verses. To summarize Bhagavad Gita, forget about to talk about a shloka, to talk about a few things about Bhagavad Gita, but to summarize the entire Bhagavad Gita is not a humanly possible task. Every time you read something, every time you reflect on things, every time you look at the world and then again look at the Shastra, you will find new things that will come to us. And again, it is still so small in the sense that, just like a student in KG is trying to understand ABCD, and once they know A to Z, they think that they have mastered English. And I'm just giving the example of English because we all can understand that. But there is so much more to the mastery. Then you go into grade 2 and you can form sentences. You go into grade 3, you can write paragraph. You go into grade 4, you can read some books. And every elevation that you have in your consciousness, you understand a bit more. So Bhagavad Gita is like that. It keeps revealing more and more, more and more. Depending on your level of consciousness, your understanding will deepen. And as it deepens, the Lord will reveal furthermore. And that rasa never ends. He himself is Akhil Rasamrit Sindhu. His Naam is also Akhil Rasamrit Sindhu. And his Gita is also Akhil Rasamrit Sindhu. It is full of nectar, full of rasas, full of, very sublime mellows that keep revealing themselves to us as we take deeper dives into it. So I have no ability to speak about this. Yet I pray to the Lord that I can, what I say, the right words will come from my mouth in the right spirit at the right time, so that we all can hear and absorb them in the right way and progress on our path back to Godhead. And in that, I ask your mercy. You all are Vaishnavas, and Vaishnavas are supposed to be very merciful. So please forgive me if I say something wrong or if I have incomplete narration about Bhagavad Gita. But to begin the discussion on Bhagavad Gita, where else to begin, if not for the introduction that Srila Prabhupada has provided. So I'm actually going to quote from Srila Prabhupada's introduction to Bhagavad Gita as it is itself. So Prabhupada says that it is Gitopanishad. And he then says it is the most important Upanishad that you can ever find. It is the essence of Vedas. And what you find in Bhagavad Gita is complete, because you can find something else elsewhere in a fraction, but you will find it in Bhagavad Gita in totality. And whatever else is there that you may not find in any other scripture is also still within Bhagavad Gita captured. And Bhagavad Gita still is a summarization, but other scriptures and other topics may be elaboration of that. So what was the need for the Bhagavad Gita as it is? It is because when we read other Bhagavad Gitas and you find that many of those authors have provided their own interpretations and they are not from the Parampara system. Whereas the Lord very clearly says so in chapter 4 that it needs to be of the Parampara system and that there shouldn't be any space for human interpretation because it is fallible to all sorts of uh, you know errors and follies. How should we look at Bhagavad Gita? How should we take Bhagavad Gita? Just like a medicine is taken on the basis of prescription of a doctor. It shouldn't be whimsical. It shouldn't be based on, oh, I think it this way, so I'll do it this way. No, you follow the prescription provided by the doctor absolutely. And similarly, Bhagavad Gita should be also undertaken from that perspective. We need to absorb and understand Bhagavad Gita just like Arjun Maharaj did. And what does that mean? Arjun Maharaj was having tremendous doubts, tremendous confusion to the point where he didn't know what to do. And he was just willing to give up the whole world and walk away as a sannyasi. And then, even that he knew will not give him satisfaction. So, as a friend, he then becomes a student of the Lord. He accepts the Lord as the master and then he asks very sincerely and submissively for him to guide him in his moment of despair. So that's when the Lord speaks the Bhagavad Gita. Now, Bhagavad Gita, therefore, is best understood, and I'm quoting straight from Srila Prabhupada, is best understood by a person who has qualities similar to Arjuna. That is to say, he must be a devotee in a direct relationship with the Lord. As soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he also has a direct relationship with the Lord. This direct relationship is important. So here I am speaking now to elaborate on what Prabhupada means. That direct relationship is important. If we do not see ourselves in relationship to the Lord, that that fervor, that strength, that pull to perform service to Him, to do the chanting, be regular in doing these things will not be there. So we need to, for everything to remain and to sustain, there has to be a binding relationship. So we need to see ourselves in that relationship with the Lord, and that will fulfill the devotion. And as we see and as we strengthen that relationship, that direct relationship with the Lord, we start to become better devotees. And as our surrender increases to the Lord, uh, we start to see our Swarup Vyavasthiti. So that is the word that Shastra uses. What does that Swarup Vyavasthiti mean? As people in this world, we go around thinking I'm a male, I'm a female, I'm Indian, American, I'm of this language, I'm of this color, I'm of that tradition, whatever. And those are all different types of rupas that we think is our swarupa. But it is almost like multiple personality disorder, right? It's not. That's not. It's just a facet of who we are in this material world. But that's not who we are. Our Swarupa is that of the soul. And the soul is a part and parcel of the super soul or the Parameshwara or the Paramatma. And as part and parcel of that Lord, we have 5 different ways to associate with Him. So we can associate with Him in Shantarasa, in so as a neutral servitor, just to please the Lord. We can associate with Him in Dasya Rasa, so as servants of the Lord. And the best example there is like Hanumanji. Then there is the Sakhya Rasa. So Arjun Maharaj is a friend, so he can be the example of that. Then there is Vatsalya Rasa. So Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, and that, maternal, paternal sort of feelings that people have towards the Lord. So when somebody is keeping, say, Laddu Gopalji at their house, they are in that Vatsalya Rasa towards the Lord. And then there is the Madhuri Rasa, which is the highest rasa that one can aspire for. And these are the 5 ways through which we can associate with the Lord. How to accept the Lord? Just like Arjun Maharaj did. So Arjun Maharaj in chapter 10, after the Lord speaks the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita in verses 8 to 11, Arjun Maharaj in verses 12 to 14, at the first time in Bhagavad Gita, he actually praises the Lord in his own words. And in the same way, in the same spirit, and understanding the Lord in all of those qualities is how we should pray to the Lord. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, Adi Devam Ajam Devam. So in this, there are about 10 or 12 qualities of the Lord that Arjun Maharaj prescribed. And we should think of the Lord from any one of these qualities or any multiple number of these qualities. But holding one finger or holding 5 fingers doesn't matter so long as holding the finger of the Lord, or you are holding the finger of your father, that you are in touch with him. So similarly, even one quality that we can think of the Lord will bring us closer to him. And then Arjun Maharaj basically has complete conviction because he says, and I am saying this because the Shastras say so, because previous rishis and acharyas say so, and you yourself have told me so. And therefore, sarvam etadritam manya. So I accept completely and wholly everything as infallible truth. Yanmam vadasi Keshava. Whatever you are going to tell me, whatever you have told me. And why he says so? Because he says, Nahite Bhagwan Vyaktim Vidur Devana Danava. And this is so because if I try to get this understanding from anybody else, I cannot. Because neither the Devtas, nor the Danavas, nor any other person can understand you, Bhagwan Vyaktim, you as in your full personality. So some may understand the Lord as just a light or a source of energy. Most, impersonalists think of it that way. Some may see him as super soul, but very few will be able to see him as a person. So we need to understand Bhagavad Gita from all of these perspectives. And then what is Bhagavad Gita, right? So Bhagavad Gita is basically a treatise that talks of 5 different topics. The Jiva, the living entity, Ishvara, so basically the Lord, the Creator, the Prakriti, the creation, Karma, the things that we do in this world, the Jiva when he comes into this world, and the activities that the Jiva undertakes, and cumulatively the, say, all the trillions of jivas that are there in this world. And I'm saying trillion because people generally think of humans as the, it's human-centric thinking. So it's not just the 7.5 or 8 billion people, but it is trillions of jivas that are undertaking daily activity for their sustenance and survival, that propagates this world. If suppose we all stop to undertake this activity, this Prakriti will not continue in the way it is continuing. So karma keeps propelling this Prakriti, and therefore there is the Kala or time. So these are the 5 subject matters of Bhagavad Gita: Jiva, Ishvara, Prakriti, Karma, and Kala. And they are presented all through the Bhagavad Gita. In all chapters, you will see the reference to all 5 of them. And very lastly, the Bhagavad Gita, the way it is presented, it's, I think it is uh, Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami or Baldev Vidyabhushan. One of them had said, given the analogy that Bhagavad Gita is like a treasure box. The first 6 chapters are the base of that box, and they deal with the knowledge of the soul. They deal with karma in a way. The second, uh, the lid of the treasure box is the last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita that deal with jnana, and the treasure that is in the treasure box, that is the middle 6 chapters, which deal only with bhakti, pure bhakti, and the object of bhakti, the Lord. So that is how we understand, and we should absorb Bhagavad Gita. The first 6 chapters bring us to the point of knowing that we are not the body, but the soul. And as the soul, the best thing we can do is become yogi. And what kind of yogi? A yogi who's completely engaged in serving the Lord. Yoginam api sarvesham madgaten antaratmana. So that is where the first 6 chapters end. 6.47. The next 6 chapters are about knowing the Lord and knowing the Lord completely. So it involves, knowing His Brahma potency, His Paramatma potency, and then His Parameshwara potency. And therefore, Arjun Maharaj even asks, so what kind of energies you have? That is in chapter 10. And then he sees how he pervades this creation through his energies through the universal form in chapter 11. And then chapter 12 is where the Lord describes that personal service to him is better. And then he describes the qualities of devotees and ends the middle 6 chapters. The last 6 chapters are around. So if Arjun Maharaj has now realized that he is the soul and not the body, and as a soul, he is now fully engaged in the service of the Lord through the middle 6 chapters. Then the natural question in Arjun Maharaj's mind is, what is this all around me then? So, suddenly if you think about it, a soul that has come out of deep slumber, deep sleep, when it wakes up, for a moment it will think, where am I? What is all this? And that is exactly how Arjun Maharaj feels, and therefore he then asks, what is this Kshetra? What is this around me? Who is this Kshetrajya? What is Prakriti? What is Karma? And there are 6 questions that he asks. And who's the knower of this and how to know him at the time of death? So these are the 6 questions that he asks in chapter 13, and then the rest of the 6 chapters follow from there. So that is again Bhagavad Gita. Adi Shankaracharya and many others have eulogized him. I'm just going to say a couple of shlokas from Gita Mahatmya by Adi Shankaracharya. So, Sarvopnishado Gavo, Dugdha Gopal Nandana, Partho Vatsaho Sudhi, Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat. What this means is, Gopal Nandana or the Lord has become the cowherd to milk the cow, which are the Upanishads. The cowherd will milk the cow for what purpose? First, to feed the calf, right? So who's the calf? It is Arjun Maharaj, Partho Vatsa Sudhi. And along with that calf, because milk, when the cow gives the milk is not just given to the calf, but it is also given to the people in general. So along with that, this milk that is coming out from the Upanishads is for Sudhi, those who are intelligent. They should nourish themselves from this milk, because this milk is Gitamritam Mahat. It is the most sublime. So this is where the introduction to Bhagavad Gita ends. And we can go into chapter by chapter discussions, but I thought that is not really beneficial for our spiritual growth. And this is me just thinking like this. So I was thinking that we should get into an interactive discussion between all of us. We all have spent now, uh, you know, Rasika Mataji, you can come correct me if I'm wrong, but at least 7 years since we began, you know, discussions on Bhagavad Gita, and we went through verse by verse every Sunday, a couple of verses at a time, etc. And then once we were done with that, we then began summarization of the chapters of Bhagavad Gita, and then we went through all of that. So we've done uh, reading of the verses, we've done summarization of the chapters. So at this time, we are now looking at the whole book. So I want to ask you, and please feel free, please talk, please share, because this is where everything becomes, important, and it will stick with you at the end of this session. I'll say it this way: if you ask a question, then if that question is answered, you benefit. And if you ask a question and that question is not answered, then the person to whom that question is asked benefits, and your search continues, so you also benefit. So it doesn't matter. Everyone benefits when some question is asked, some discussion is undertaken. Namani anantasya yasho ankitani Shunvanti Gayanti Grinanti Sadhya. So since we are talking about the Lord and His Gita, it is all auspicious. So my question, and where I want to start the discussion, is if you reflect on Bhagavad Gita, there must be a shloka that resonates with you. There must be something in some chapter that resonates with you. There must be some passages that resonate with you. Can each one of you take a turn and talk about which shloka you like, what chapter of Bhagavad Gita you like, what message within the Bhagavad Gita you like, and we will talk first about this. Then we will go to the next topic, which is we will again talk about realization. So as you read Bhagavad Gita, as you heard about the Bhagavad Gita, uh, what did you realize? Realization makes things personal to us, because the moment you realize something, the knowledge deepens, it gets into your soul, and therefore realizations are important. Even if it is small realization, oh, that is true, I saw it, I see this happen. Those realizations are very important. So we'll talk about what shloka, what chapter, and what message you like, and then we'll talk a little bit about realization. So anybody who wants to go first? Hare Krishna. And please, I am really, really encouraging you to discuss this, because this will deepen your understanding of the Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. Anybody?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my favorite verse um, from the Bhagavad Gita is the 17th verse of the 18th chapter. In that, Krishna mentions that one who reads the Bhagavad Gita worships him by his intelligence. And I like that verse because sometimes people say that, we have got the Bhagavad Gita at home and they wrap it in a red cloth. But they think they're being like worshipping it very nicely and all that. And but the thing is, Krishna says that if you want to worship the Bhagavad Gita, you must read it because you're worshipping it by your intelligence. So I really like that verse. And my favorite chapter is the 10th chapter because Krishna describes his vibhutis, and it also tells him how we can see Krishna everywhere. So yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
What a wonderful, revelation, Mataji. Thank you so much. Exactly. So every Sunday when we meet here for the class, and we all can decide to spend our times elsewhere, but we spend that 1 hour either on Sunday or when we are hearing the other lessons on Srimad Bhagavatam, etc. On the other days of the week. Basically, that is yajna. The Lord calls it sacrifice. And this is the sacrifice that the Lord says is, dear to him. The Mataji quoted the right verse in the 70th verse from 18th chapter after he's spoken of the entire Bhagavad Gita. He says so that if you read this scrutinizingly, then you are serving him with your intelligence. And I'll also quote chapter 3, verse 9, where he says that Yagyarthat karmano anyatha karmoyam lokabandhan. So basically what that means is the time and the effort you put in to satisfy the Lord, to please the Lord, to approach the Lord is, it frees us. Otherwise, every other effort actually binds us to this world. So even now, when you engage and you speak about him and you ask questions and you, have discussions with fellow devotees, you are actually performing that yajna for his satisfaction. He is in everyone's heart, your heart and everybody else's heart. And it is him who is going to get satisfied. And therefore, this act of ours becomes yajna. So Hare Krishna. Anybody else who would like to speak about their favorite shloka, chapter, any message of Bhagavad Gita, any realization?
Hello, Prabhuji. This is Malini. And I've just recently completed, this is the first time I'm very new to this, so I completed reading the Bhagavad Gita through another group. And for me, which captures most is the universal form, the chapter 11, that has got embedded in my mind. I know I don't have any particular sloka as such, but the whole chapter reveals that Krishna is there in everything, and that has captured my heart. So I like that chapter. I know there are very other good verses in all the other chapters which describes about the duty and about other things, which is very valuable to life. But this is the most appealing to me, like when Krishna shows his full universal form, and then after that, Arjuna says that he would like to see him back in his two-handed form, which is more applicable to the uh, humans as of now in this Kali Yuga. So I like this chapter very much, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, the universal form and the chapter is always liked by most people. So thank you, Mataji. Anybody else?
Haribol Prabhu, I want to go. My name is Sandeep. I like this verse. Sarvasya chaham radisanni vishto smattaha smriti jnana apohanam cha vedesya sarvehe ahamem meva vedyo vedanta krut veda vide eva chaham. In it's a very unique verse that I heard about, and the purport of Srila Prabhupada is the human beings, they are born, they are given required knowledge, remembrance, but they forget about their past janma. It is really, really amazing that we are so intelligent. We can do everything. We can go to moon. We are trying to go to Mars, but we forget about past janma and we cannot remember our past janma. And another thing that Shri Krishna said is Vedas give. He is a compiler of Vedanta, Vedas and Vedanta, and he gave right direction to the people so they can properly mold their lives and come back to God, him, come back to Krishna. It's really, really amazing. That's what my realization is, Prabhu. Very good.
What a wonderful realization and what a wonderful recitation of the words to Prabhu. Very nicely recited. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I would like to go next. For me, I have so many favorite verses, but the one that is standing out today in my mind is 934. Manmanabhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru mam evaishyasi yuktvevam atmanam mad parayanam. And my Krishna says, like, engage your mind always in thinking about me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, worship me, being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. And then one of the chapters that I can relate this verse with is chapter 7. um there are like, it's all over, but I don't know, somehow I feel like I should speak about chapter 7 today. Krishna, the summary of this chapter is that the topmost devotee of Krishna, what he does, he carries Krishna in his heart constantly, like he has Krishna in his heart. There are 5 important points that this chapter talks about. Like, how is this creation, how did this creation came into being? Who tries to look for Krishna? Number 2. Third is, why are, like Sandeep Prabhu said, why are we in Maya? What makes us like forget everything from previous janmas? And who takes shelter of Krishna? And how do we come out of this covering that is stopping us from remembering our relationship, eternal relationship with Krishna? So very nicely in this chapter it says there is Parashakti, Aparashakti, and the Lord, what he does is he covers he covers his Aparashakti, is what we are all living in, the material energy. And we are all the spiritual beings. Like, we are his Parashakti. And Krishna, like what Sandeep Prabhu read, Krishna, no, I think Malini said that. Malini Mataji said that. Ki, where to find Krishna? Krishna is everywhere in everything. But in that specific chapter, Krishna says, in this world you come across lot of like, there's so much beauty, extravagant beauties. We are struck by so many opulences, like someone is very intelligent, someone has like so much talent. And Krishna says, anything that is attractive should remind you of me. That is just a spark of my opulence. Like, when we are thirsty, we drink water. Krishna says, I'm tasting water. So, and sun and moon, they are like, sun is like the source of light in this world. Krishna says, that's my eye. That's the opulence we are looking at. Like, moon and sun, they are my eyes. So there are a lot of examples. Anything that attracts us or strikes us, we should think of, that should remind us of Krishna. Then why are, like what Sandeep Prabhu said, why are we stuck in this Maya? um, Most people look at this world as like, we are just attracted by all the chamak dhamak, all the flashy things of this world, and we are so engrossed in trying to satisfy the necessities, and whatever, like, we get stuck into this material things, and we forget about what our real true nature is, because we are covered. Lord says, I cover people. Like, as soon as person is born into this world, he's covered by my Maya. Exactly like, think about a child, a mother gives him a bath and puts on new clothes. Exactly like that, we come into this world with a new body, and then we have this covering. And all, whatever we have, all our desires, whatever is accumulated in our mind, it goes with that the subtle body goes with our actual outer covering, and we carry those desires, and we fulfill. In new body, we try to fulfill whatever we had, desires we had in previous body, and then we create new body based on whatever desires that we have in our mind. And who looks for Krishna? Number 4, fourth one. So Krishna says, there are 4 different people who come in my search. People who are in trouble, arthati, people who are looking for wealth, and or any kind of wealth. Jigyasu, the person who wants to know the truth of whatever this creation is. And Jnani are people who are out of love or out of their desire to get knowledge are seeking me. And those who don't come, Krishna bluntly says they are atheist. And then, so the summary of this chapter, again, I will summarize it. It says, so the goal of this life is to know Krishna, to know what is this material energy, and to take shelter of Krishna every single moment. So in the last moment of our life, we will remember Krishna. If we don't do this for all our life, it is very difficult for someone to remember Krishna at that last moment when we are about to leave this body and go into another body. Thank you, Prabhu. Sorry I took some time, but that's few things that I wanted to share. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. You not only summarized chapter 7, you actually summarized the entire Bhagavad Gita in a way. It was so nice. I'm amazed because your perception and your understanding of that chapter is so good. And thanks for sharing that. Actually, there is a verse in that chapter 728 where basically the essence is that those who are attracted to bhakti in this life have actually uh, gone through and have tasted and have seen the results of karma, jnana, yajna, tapa, dana, all of that. And they've come to a position to understand that of all the items that are there on the buffet in this world, the only thing that is going to satisfy them going forward is bhakti. So it says, Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam. So we have done all those merits. We've gone through all of that and we've come to the realization. Te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhata. And therefore they are worshipping me. So it is not like, sometimes devotees start to have that self-doubt that maybe yoga is better. The people who are doing yoga, their bodies are perhaps limber and stronger and whatnot. Or maybe those who are in karma may have more money. And there may be doubts at times in people's mind. But the fact is, the soul has gone through a journey. It has come to this point to accept bhakti because it is Jananam Punya Karmanam. They have done all of those punyas in the past to realize that bhakti is better. So thank you so much to talk about chapter 7. Yes, it is full of nectarian shlokas, and because it is the first chapter of that treasure in Bhagavad Gita, it is very exciting. I'll ask other devotees to share their realizations, what they like, etc. Hare Krishna. Anybody?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All wishes Prabhupada Guru Maharaj. Prabhuji, the whole concept of Bhagavad Gita is so um, helping for the human life. Like Bhagavad Gita is a manual for human life, and we can use it as our, like how we get manual for our TV or iPhone or anything gadget we get we buy. But this Krishna gave us free knowledge to Arjuna when he surrendered to him. So I like the shloka. My favorite shloka is 10.10 chapter. Tesham satati yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami bhukti yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. So in this is translated like, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So, and in this purport, Prabhupada says that Prabhupada explains the Bhakti Yoga. In this Bhakti Yoga, Krishna says that who worship me by devoted, who is devoted to me, I will give him the intelligence, knowledge, how he can come to me. Like how our Father, Uneswara Father, wants us to go back to him, love the children, and he tells us, "Okay, just surrender unto me and worship me, and then you will get my abode or me." So that was my favorite shloka, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, you quoted from the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita itself. It's a wonderful shloka to pick, Mataji. Thank you so much for sharing. Anybody else who wants to share their favorite message, chapter, or shloka? Haribol? Okay. Uh, if nobody else is coming forward, I'll ask something else. So we will continue with the same discussion, interactive discussions with all of you. Uh, so when you see the world outside, because we live in this material world, we face things every single day. We face something that is pleasant, we face something that is difficult. So how do you internalize Bhagavad Gita? How do you apply Bhagavad Gita in the day-to-day life? So it is good to read Bhagavad Gita and see it from a theory perspective, something that is good, something that fulfills the heart and the soul. But do you see any disconnect between what Bhagavad Gita is saying or how the world is acting? Any questions that come to your mind? Let's move the conversation to that. So, how do you see the world versus what you read in Bhagavad Gita? Any direct examples of what Bhagavad Gita says can be seen in the world. So, highlight that if you've seen that, because that will be your realization. And also, if you have any questions, then let us all try to see how to respond to those questions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I would like to quote 15.7. ममेवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूत सनातन मनःषष्ठानि इंद्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति. Krishna says the living entities in this conditional world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which includes the mind.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Another very important words from chapter 15. So, how do you, uh, you know, use that words to understand what is happening in the world around you, to maybe understand events that happen, or not only that verse, anything else. So, the question or the point of discussion is, how do we apply Bhagavad Gita in practical life?
Yes, Prabhu, I was just thinking of this verse in context of how we see everyone struggling, and this whole struggle, this powerhouse of that struggle is our mind and our senses. Through our mind and senses, we are just so entrapped, entangled in everything around us that it takes a pure devotee to bring our attention back to Krishna. And doesn't matter how many a a person could be materially a philosopher, but he lacks what is important. Like the most important point of being in this world is missing in that individual. Like I was listening to my Guru Maharaj's class the other day, and he said he's on yatra somewhere in this during, and he's speaking during yatra, and he says, you know what, the person who has done IIT from who has done masters from IIT is my cook. He cooks here. And the person who has done, so all these highly educated people, they are serving as like they are doing menial services, menial in material sense. um, so whatever, and they are doing it out of like full devotion and love. So the things that are valued in this material world are completely of no value when we look at the spiritual side of this world. So right, so there is, like, there's a story of exalted Brahmana. Narad Muni tells him that, the Lord, what is the Lord doing? What is he engaged in his Vaikuntha? So Narad Muni says, oh, he is trying to uh, run or push an elephant through a needle hole. And that he thinks with his all his philosophical whatever knowledge he has, and he says that's impossible. And when he goes to a cobbler, and he tells, and the cobbler is also he's a bhakta. So cobbler says, yeah, why not? My lord, if he can create this whole entire world from a seed, from a small seed, if this big banyan tree can come out, that big banyan tree was enclosed in that small seed. If that is possible, then my lord can do anything. Yeah, that's possible. He's so it's the heart transformation of heart that takes place uh, in the path of bhakti. That really inspires me every day, Prabhu. That it's not about all the physical changes. How do you present yourself, how do you want to present or portray yourself on people around you as you are a devotee, like how much of a devotee you are. It's the transformation of heart that brings the real essence of bhakti in an individual. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, such a wonderful realization. Thank you Mataji for sharing that. It's a very famous narration of Narad Muni's pastimes and how he creates devotees in this world. And it is very telling. Yes, similar story comes to mind, from Srimad Bhagavatam, that when the Lord himself goes to ask for food, the Brahmanas who are performing sacrifices uh, refuse to give him his friends the food. And when the Lord asks that of the wives of those Brahmanas, they are very happy to serve the Lord and his friends. So that is so true. Sometimes knowledge does make us hard and hard headed as well as hard hearted. And bhakti actually melts the mind, it melts the heart, and therefore it is pleasing. You know, he is Makhan Chor. Makhan is the essence of the curd that comes from the milk. And in some sense, he is the Makhan Chor because the best of the bhav that comes in our hearts, he is the cure of that. Therefore, he is called Bhavgrahi Janardhan, right? He takes the bhav, and the bhav has to be pure, has to be genuine. And that is what will root us firmly in bhakti. Thank you again, Mataji. You know, this is why discussions are important because when somebody says something, it's like the flowers keep blossoming. So suddenly, so many new thoughts, so many new pastimes, new stories come to our mind, and that deepens the fervor, the feeling, and the understanding about the Lord. So thanks again, Mataji, for that wonderful, you know,
Yeah.
story and the quotation.
Prabhu, one more thought is just coming to my mind that can I share?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, so the process of bhakti is like a gopi churning a pot of yogurt, buttermilk, and the process is churning and churning until her heart becomes like soft like that butter, that's when it is ready for offering to Krishna. Because Krishna loves that butter. So the process of bhakti is like that churning. We have to work hard, we have to be consistent. And yes, Prabhu, thank you so much. I really appreciate all your inputs and realizations, Prabhu. Dandavat.
Thank you, Mataji. Any other devotee who would like to speak about practical application of Bhagavad Gita uh, in this life? Hare Krishna.
Haribol Prabhu, Sandeep Prabhu here. Prabhu, what I see is in this material world, I mean, definitely the bhaktas give up the wealth and they start doing devotion, preaching, sankirtan yajna, and focus on reading shastras, right? Um, but the non-devotees, the atheist, they are towards wealth, and they are towards all the flashy things, like right from Indra all the way to the present world. um, i'm I'm trying to understand why Lakshmi, why these people, they came up with so much of good fortune, like trillions of dollars. They won't have they won't, the devotion doesn't come up. I mean, why is the world like that? If you can shed some light around that.
That is so deep a question, Prabhu. The way I understand and I will answer that is, you know, the Lord, is- it's deep philosophy, but very quickly. We also, I think one of the devotees spoke about it. How is it that this Maya is so strong? We talked of that, and now your question is more about why is it that some people who are not inclined for devotional service still have better power, better position, better wealth, etc., or better status in life in this world. So I'll put it this way, and this is not to demean Christianity or Christians, but it is just to make the point, right? Because it is also in our own scriptures. The point is, why did Christians say that this world is created for our enjoyment, right? So the question is, if the world was created by our Father, I'm using Christian terminology, for our enjoyment, did the Father have a poorer or worse off house that he wanted to create a separate, better place for the children? Why would he not have the children stay with him and have the children be happy in his own house? Why did he feel the need to create a separate world for them? And it's exactly the same thing that is answered in our scriptures. We also were the children who were with our Father. But at some point of time, in time immemorial, we had a desire. And again, this is Krishna's thing. So we had a desire to enjoy same like Krishna. And that's why when somebody has to enjoy, but they don't have the potency to enjoy, they don't have the means to enjoy, then the Lord basically said, okay, you want to enjoy, but you are a soul. You cannot really taste things. You cannot really touch things. You cannot really feel things. So he, in one way, created a virtual reality for us in this world. So he had to create this world for us to come and enjoy. And when he created this world, he, because the father has given a video game for the kid to play, or the mother has created a playhouse for the children to play in the backyard. They have no interest. They are happy with the house, the real house, and the mother is happy in that house. The father is not really interested in that video game, so they are aloof. That is what the Lord says. I am in this world, but I am aloof from this world. I am not in touch with this. So, to run this world, to run this video game, there is a certain hardware, there is a certain software, there is a certain network, and there are certain rules by which you have to play the game. Similarly, if the kid is, in the other analogy, if the kid is playing in the backyard, the kids are playing, but the mother, who is a very loving and caring mother, has told the maid to go and oversee what the kids are playing. So the maid has put some rules so that kids do not fight amongst themselves, and the play that is happening in the playhouse is meaningful. The video game is enjoyable for that other analogy, right? So certain rules have been placed. Now these rules that are there that run this world, that maid, which is Mother Durga, who oversees this world, has put certain rules. The Lord does not interfere in that. The rules are of the karma, and if you do good, you will get good out of it. This is why even when the Danavas, for the destruction of the world, perform tapasya, they will still get the result of that tapasya. Because you do what you want to do, you will get equal and proportionate results out of it. So that is the rule, and the Lord does not meddle in it. He will meddle in it. So just like, so I'm giving multiple answers here. So the rules are rules, and therefore somebody who's done good, somebody who manages his money diligently will make more money, whether he is inclined towards the Lord or not. That is the play. So, in play, somebody wins, somebody loses. So that is what is happening in this world. So where does the Lord then, so is the Lord always completely dispassionate and stays away from it? No. So the Lord intervenes, but he intervenes for his devotee. If the devotee fervently asks for it, and he intervenes even when the devotee does not ask, if somebody troubles his devotee. But other than that, he does not intervene. So I hope I have answered your question, Prabhu, as to why, uh, you know, people will have power, position, status in life, even if they are not in devotional service. I mean, just think about Hiranyakashipu. He performed that austerity, and he was given the result of that severe austerity to the point where he realized that he is not the body, he is the soul. To the point where he was completely Brahma Bhuta. He became so Brahma Bhuta that he was aware of this entire universe and every working of this universe, that he started to take away the rights of the demigods. He started to take away and change the rules with which this world was operating. But if that level of knowledge, even that level of Brahma Gyan, if it is devoid of service and devoid of connection to the Lord, then you don't understand that this Brahma was created by him, and he can come and change anything at any time. Yet the Lord did not do so. He only did, and he intervened within the rules of this world when Hiranyakashipu started to trouble Prahlad Maharaj. Then the Lord came out with his Narsimha form in extreme anger and in extreme love for his devotee. So that is how the world operates. Hare Krishna. I hope I have answered your question.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very wonderful explanation, Prabhu. So another, my real question was like, why the devotees are seen as a very simple. I mean, they behave like they are never flashy, and these atheists are flashy, and the world is running towards this atheist for that flashiness. So I think it's a contrast. That's what I am my question, right?
Yes, Prabhu. So I'll simply answer it this way.
Yeah,
You know, the world is on a declining path, right?
yeah,
There were all sorts of goodnesses when Satyuga was there, and then slowly, things started to dwindle with Dwapar Yuga, with Treta Yuga. Sorry, with Treta Yuga, with Dwapar Yuga, and then with Kali Yuga. Right. So people have become of short life, short memory, lesser intelligence, easily illusioned, easily distracted, and no virtues in this life. So that is what is causing people to get attracted to the wrong things. The very simple answer, Prabhu, is that if previously, maybe even 50 years ago, 25 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, people were to ask who's the greatest person in your town, they will generally point towards the most educated, most devoted, the person who's performing most yajna or tapa. They will say, oh, that is the great personality. They would never point to the most wealthy person in the town. They would never point to the most powerful person in the town. But now our intelligence is such that if somebody asks us who's the greatest, we will think of maybe it is Elon Musk, maybe it is Bill Gates, whoever, right? Uh, that is the intelligence people in Kali Yuga have. Mand Buddhi, Mand Bhagya. There is a sloka in Srimad Bhagavatam that tells the condition of human life today, and it is a symptom of that life. That is why it is happening like this today.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and your other part of the question, so why are devotees simple? So what I answered was why people go and gravitate towards those tendencies and those people. And why are devotees simple? Because Krishna does not get encouraged or enticed by wealth, strength, intelligence, best words, best poetry. He is enticed by the simple things. If you in the heart do not have the feeling for him, Krishna has no place for you. He does not have inclination to come and see you. But the moment the feeling starts to come in the heart, the bhav happens. Now you are not chasing Krishna. He will be chasing you. He will be coming to you. He will be wanting to have that association with you. So that is why devotees automatically, because bhakti is like that. Bhakti is, there is a shloka in Bhakti Rasamrita. It is anavrita. The more bhakti is anavrit, it is removing the covering of knowledge. It is removing the covering of sacrifice. It is removing the covering of and thinking of that I have done this karma. When you take all of that out, anavrita, then the best type of bhakti starts to form. So even if you are a neophyte in devotion, you will start to become simple in your heart and simple in your life. So that's the answer.
Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you so much for clarification and explanation, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. So I do want to, this was supposed to be summarization. I could have taken the whole 1 hour and talked with a monologue, only me speaking, and talked about every single chapter and what are the contents of the chapter, and I could have summarized Bhagavad Gita that way. I decided not to because I think that when we have these kind of discussions, it deepens our understanding and it also deepens our interest in this topic. So I thought that would be more important. Yet the whole class will be incomplete if I don't give you something about the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So instead of me speaking about it, I'm just simply giving you something that I found was very, very useful. It is very methodical. It is very detailed. It is the summary of Bhagavad Gita. It is a PDF that you will find on internet of about 399 or 400 sort of pages. It is written by Gauranga Prem Das. It is called Bhagavad Gita Notes. And in that, you will find the structure of each chapter. In that, you will find the key topics, key shlokas, key verses elaborated. And then for every chapter, he's done that. But what he's also done is he's created links between chapters. He's created, elaborate graphs and graphics for people to understand. So my, you know, takeaway for you guys is, if anybody is interested to, for now or for later, understand Bhagavad Gita in a detailed way. So, in school we used to read the textbook and there used to be a guide. So see this as a guide to understanding the textbook, which is Bhagavad Gita as it is. It is written by Gauranga Prem Das. Uh, it is Bhagavad Gita notes. The text is Bhagavad Gita notes. And I think, let me just quickly find. You will find it on isconeducation.org. So that's one thing. Then there is also a compilation of key shlokas that you can find on the internet. So you just type Bhakti Shastri Bhagavad Gita shlokas and you will find different shlokas picked from different chapters that are very significant, and we should have some amount of memorization of those shlokas. So that is how I would say that you yourself can read the summary of Bhagavad Gita, understand the key verses, instead of me spending 1 hour in a monologue way talking about it. But I do want us to end this discussion with two specific thoughts. The purpose, and yes, Prabhu, you had quoted chapter 15, verse 15. सर्वस्य चाहम हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्त स्मृति ज्ञानम अपोहनंत वेदेश्च सर्वे रामे वेद्य वेदांत वेद एव चाहम. So the purpose of reading Bhagavad Gita is to become close to him. The purpose of reading Bhagavad Gita is not only to become close to him, but to come to know his heart. See, we are always busy thinking about our lives and what we want, and we want the desire to, our desire to be closer to him to be fulfilled. But what does the Lord want? What does the Lord think? What is his nature? And try to understand his nature through Bhagavad Gita. He is Bhakta Vatsala. So in Bhagavad Gita, where do you find evidence of him being Bhakta Vatsala? You will see the evidence that he is Bhakta Vatsala in the very cover of Bhagavad Gita. That he who's created this world has become a Sarthi to his devotee. And not only has he become a Sarthi in chapter 1, where no knowledge is imparted, Arjun Maharaj directly orders the Lord to say, take this chariot in the middle of the battlefield. And he is so Bhakta Vatsala that unquestioningly, happily, he takes the chariot there. So we need to understand the heart of the Lord, because that will bring us closer to him. And to tie to this is a story of a South Indian Brahmana. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taking tour of India and he was visiting the southern part of India, there was a Brahmana who was ridiculed by other Brahmanas because he was not a master in philosophy, he was not a master in reading the scriptures, he had not read Bhagavad Gita. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired about it, he simply said, I cannot read Bhagavad Gita because the moment I see the cover of Bhagavad Gita, I just break down. I just start crying. How can the Lord be so merciful, so humble that he becomes a charioteer of his devotee? And that is how we need to accept Bhagavad Gita in our hearts. So that was the first point I wanted to make, that, more than philosophy, more than discussions and understanding through logic, we need to understand Bhagavad Gita through bhav, through prayer, through the heart. The last thing is, I myself used to sometimes think, it is so, it was easy, it was good that, those people who were there at the time of Lord Krishna, it was good of them, it was their fortune that Lord Krishna was there. Lord Krishna became Arjun Maharaj's Sarthi, so good for Arjun Maharaj. But we don't have that benefit. This is how I used to think. But if you read Bhagavad Gita in either 1515 or 1861 specifically, you will understand that he is our Sarthi too. In 1861, he says, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. Brahmayami Sarva Bhutani Yantra Rudhani Maya. I think that is how the verse goes. So, what it means is, he is in the heart and of the living entity who's going around on a yantra that is created and he's going around in this world of illusion. And what is that yantra? It is that body, this body. So the living entity is going around in this material world in this yantra, the physical body that he's been given, the subtle and the gross body that has been given to us. So now the question is, how does he become the Sarthi? Could the soul of we ourselves be the Sarthi of this Sukshma and Sthul Sharir? No, he says that Maya Dhakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam Hetunanena Kaunteya Jagad Vipariyartate. So he says the scenery around you is moving based on what I am directing. And Prakrite Kriyamanani Gunakarmani Sarvacha Ahankar Vimudhatma Kartaham iti manyate. So even when the car is moving in this prakriti, this body is moving around in this world, the soul is thinking that it is the doer. The soul is thinking that it is driving this car, but it is he who's driving this car. So he is our personal Sarthi in our heart. So we should feel so proud and powerful and so humble also that he is our own personal Sarthi. So start to look within, start to ask him for his guidance, the way Arjun Maharaj asked for his guidance when he was faced with indecision with trouble. And with this thought, I'll stop our discussion on this particular topic. Hare Krishna. I hope you found the entire discussion very useful in your journey back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for that summary. Prabhu, can I add one doha? I just remember a doha for what you just said.
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a Kabir's doha. He says, Kabir man nirmal bhaya, jo Ganga ka neer. Ab piche piche hari fire, kahe Kabir, Kabir, Kabir. And yeah, in same context, there's one more saying, Prabhu. It says, Jagat majuri det hai, kyo rakhe Bhagwan. So
Yeah.
if we are having exchanges in material world and we get paid off for whatever we do, if in spiritual way, if we serve Krishna, why would he not reciprocate, right? Thank you so much, Prabhu. Wonderful discussion. Dandavat pranam.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you, devotees, for participating in the discussions. I hope it was useful for all of us. We'll end the class with prayers to the Vaishnavas. Vanchakalpatarubhescha kripa sindhubheva patitanam pavane
Bhyo Vaishnavi Namo Namah.
Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Harinam
जय जय
Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki jai.
Jai.
विकास प्रभु जी की जय
Jai. All assembled devotees ki jai.
भगवद गीता की जय।
Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
शंभु
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Prabhuji.
जय
Hare
माँ
Krishna, Prabhuji.
माँ शिवरात्रि
Hare
महोत्सव
Krishna.
की जय।
Hare
हरे
Krishna.
कृष्णा
Everybody.
Hare
हरि बोल
बोल
Hari Bol.
हरि बोल
Bol. Thank you.